with the first speaker from our Mrinal Talukdar, who is the pioneer of media houses in Assam and also the social mover, social changer. And thereafter, we have a Professor Vijay from IIT Delhi. Professor Vijay is one of the pioneer in rural transformation. Probably you know him very well. And then followed by we have Dr. Saini also yesterday. She probably you know her also. Apart from other eminent speaker, here let me tell you about the participant profile. The participants are mostly like 90% are from northeastern state, and of this 90%, I would say like 70% are from my own institute, that is Bineshwar Brahmo Engineering College. And this Bineshwar Brahmo Engineering College is located in the southern part of Assam. It's toward this West Bengal and then Bhutan, bordering to the Bhutan. Probably you are aware of this place. And then some of the participants are from other part of the country, like for example Tamil Nadu and Bihar, and Karnataka, where they are. Of course, you are going to get some of very active participants from there in the wireless session at the end of the session. And then we have a participant from the Nagaland, neighboring concerns state, sister state from us. So we have a composition almost everywhere. And let me tell you, with due respect, the purpose and the objective behind of this seminar or this session or this workshop is that we wanted to identify a brigade of people, a battery of people, who would look forward to take and reform the villages. This is the first step which we are stepping into this, and the reason and or the objective is that let's unite together who are into a different in higher or privilege, so that there are so many people who are looking at I and us. So with that, our associate, the University of Melbourne, Professor Dole, which has started the Smart of Village Lab almost 4 years ago. Now we have started a center here, a local chapter. Now we are going to work in coordination with them, and of course this Professor Vijay, who leaded the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. So we are here a local unit here. So far, Mr. Tuteja, we have adopted 5 villages. We started adopting the 5 village. We could not do much, but yeah, initially we went to the village. Our students went there, a part of their internship. They try to understand what do they want, what are the requirement and all. After that, this VUCA episode came erupted, and entire thing is shut down. So we cannot do much. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I have already informed you about us, how we are there. And because in this session, our people will going to introduce the speaker of the day. Of course, no need an introduction, but let me tell you, he is one of the change maker of a country. Probably you will have a very successful session and a very good session. So I really congratulate that you have joined this program. A part of there are so many webinar airing around this and that. There are so many webinars these days. But in spite of it, you choose to become this and you choose to become a comrade, in the journey of life. So thank you so much. Now, may I request our team to come forward? Nilakshi, are you already inside?
Yes, sir, I am in.
Okay, very good. So I will request to introduce the speaker to all the participants. So please.
Yes, sir. First of all, happy Vishwakarma Puja to all. Good afternoon to one and all present here. Our respected guest, Dr. Amit Tuteja, sir, respected Madelson Ronghang, sir, teachers and students from different colleges, juniors, and all my dear friends. Welcome to our second session of our one-week workshop cum seminar, Smart Village by Intervention and Visible Solutions, jointly organized by Smart Village Lab Local Chapter, Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, Bineshwar Brahma Engineering College, and University of Melbourne. Today, this task of introducing our guest of honor, our speaker, is a great privilege. Dr. Amit Tuteja, sir, is a research scientist turned social entrepreneur. He is the founder and executive director of Connecting Dreams Foundation, an organization that seeks to bridge the gap between urban and rural India using technology, entrepreneurship, and power of youth. He has also worked as a research scientist at the Center for Genomic Applications, Government of India. He also holds a doctorate in the field of DNA diagnostics and personalized medicine. Dr. Amit sir has also consulted Intel Corporation on various projects, including their famous Power of initiative focused on entrepreneurship. Additionally, his recent role during Intel's Innovate for Digital India Challenge (IFDIC) is particularly noteworthy. Thank you, sir. We are blessed that you are among us and also fortunate enough to gain knowledge from you. Now, I would like to request Dr. Amit, sir, to please further continue the session. Sir, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Nilakshi, and thanks, Dr. Rongan. And thank you, everyone who is there right now, who is joined in for the session. Right. So I think I have another hour to take you through the journey, and I'll try and keep it more interesting and interactive, and more in a story format than a simple presentation. And I'll try my best so that you don't get bored. So let's start. All right. So
Yes.
I'll just share my screen. Is this visible to everyone?
Yes. Very much.
Great.
Right.
Great. So as you can see, the topic of my entire work is around sustainability through connectivity and entrepreneurship, which is the basis of establishing rural and urban networks for sustainable livelihoods. All right. So as I think everyone knows, and I think you have been going through a lot of presentations offhand, and we're talking about smart villages. And people would have talked about how do you create smart villages by using various technology solutions. So I'll be talking about some technology solutions for sure, but I'll talk more about on how to make villages smarter. Then because I think if we villagers become smarter, I think the village will become smart automatically. So we will be talking more about that how can we do that, and we'll be taking that journey through. Right. So as I think everyone knows this particular gap that is there around the world. We have almost 3 billion people which are unreached, all right, which is mostly the rural part of the world, where we don't have resources. We have limited resources in terms of, I'll say, education, healthcare, livelihoods. And then you have the urban part where you have excess of resources. So I'll say that if you have to define a difference between the urban and rural, the difference is excess. In one area, the challenge is ACC, and the other part, there is a challenge of EXESS. I think the spelling is different, but it defines the basic challenge between rural and urban areas. In some areas, you don't have access to solutions, and in some areas, you have excess of solutions. So that causes a lot of problems in both the areas, and unless you balance this, it will be difficult to create a sustainable solution around this thing. So I think it's very much, I think this is the time where the shifting of the balance of opportunity should happen, where the resources that has to be provided to the rural area should reach there in some form or the other. The kind of principles that we use, the kind of, I'll say, the ideology behind the entire work that we have done so far is based on Dr. Abul Kalam's model called Pura, providing urban amenities in rural areas. It's a wonderful model. I think if you have not read this, I think this is the must-read book for, I think, everyone present here. If you're talking about smart villages, this should be a guidebook or a reference book you should start with. I think this is the book I read and it changed my life, the way I've been working throughout. It's a wonderful model. So I think I'll start with this. So I'll start with a small case study. All right. So when we started working on this almost 8 years back, the challenge was that we were not very sure of what kind of challenges people are facing in rural area. Right. So we generally, like as we are doing this kind of conversation right now, it's video conferencing is quite possible. 12 years, like 8 years back, it was a little difficult because of technology and all. But at that time also, we were thinking on what kind of challenges we were facing. So we used to think of these challenges sitting in cities, and we used to imagine the solution. We used to implement these solutions, and that's why most of the things don't work out in these places. So I'll take you through a journey. I'll say that it's my personal journey. And I think if you could learn some things, or if you can take some points from this, I think you can solve any of the problems that you want to solve in any of the areas that you're working in, not only limited to villages, but anywhere you want to do it. And this journey took me to different parts of India, took me to different parts of different villages of India, where I was trying to identify the kind of challenges people are facing, be it, so I started this journey basically in villages of UP, villages of Uttarakhand, and various other places, and trying to identify what kind of challenges people are facing. So I'll not be able to tell you the stories of all the villages I visited, but I'll take up a couple of them. And if you can see the slide, there is a place near Delhi. It's called Hapur. It's a district in Uttar Pradesh. I'll say Western Uttar Pradesh to be very specific. And there were two villages called Lalpur and Shampur. So I visited this village as a part of my work at one point of time. It's called Shampur. And when I visited this village, I was really happy to see so much of women out there participating in different activities. And I visited one of the workshops where these women, there were almost 70 women who were training. And it's a remote village. It's not that a kind of village which is just attached to the city. It's a remote village that I'm talking about. When I visited there, there were almost 70, 80 women who were there, and who were trying to learn how to make cakes, pizzas, and pastries in a village. So I was really curious, and I was a little surprised on why people are learning how to make cake, pizza, and pastries. Who will buy them? What is the requirement of it? All those questions were coming to my mind, and I asked them that, why are you doing this? So one of the women stood up and said that, what do you think? Like, if one of our kids have a birthday, don't they have a right to eat cakes? Or don't they have right to eat pastries or pizzas in village, even though we don't have any shop for this, but we can learn and make this. So this shows the kind of empowerment, kind of change which is happening in villages at this point of time. I was not really prepared to take up this answer, because for me at that time the scenario of the village was more like as we used to see villages in our movies. Okay, and at that point of time I thought, yeah, this is really right. What they said is absolutely right, and this is required at these places also. We always think that if it is a village, whatever low quality stuff is there, it is possible to give there. They don't need, they don't have too many expectations. They don't have too many things to do. So we always have that in mind. But I think that changed the picture altogether for me, at least. And I thought that what in villages also, people expect quality. People are looking forward to development in different areas. And after this question of mine, I think everyone got offended there, because the way it was asked, and everyone got together and started singing a song about the village. The village was Shampur, and they were singing a song we are the women of Shampur, and we will take this village, we'll make this village as one of the best villages in India, and we will work together towards it. So there was so much passion in their song, the way they were singing it. There were goosebumps all over my body, and I was like standing there and just listening to that. And I recorded that bit at that point of time, the song they were singing. And after the song got over, I asked them, I actually apologized and said that whatever I asked, I'm sorry for it, and I would like to do something for you. And then I asked them what I can do for you. So another woman stood up and said that I would like to learn how to use computers or how to use internet at that point of time. And I said, what you will do, or why do you want to learn this? And she gave me an answer which was very different. Okay, I thought she would give me an answer which says that I would like to learn new things, I want to develop or something myself. But she gave me an answer. She said that I have two kids in my home, both boys, and my kids use internet on phone. Okay, at that time I'm talking about was 2G, which was times when you don't even get good internet connectivity anywhere. It was a village, so even whatever kind of speed was coming was very low. So even then, the students or the kids were using on some of the phones that they used to have the internet there. And the mother was a little worried, and she said that I want to learn because of two reasons. One, I have two kids, and these two kids use internet phone. And when I ask them, what are you doing? And they generally say, mother, you will not understand. Mummy, aapko samajh mein nahi aayega. And I think this is the story of every household. I think even among us, if it comes to technology, if one of our mothers ask us something like this, or any elderly in our home asks like this, I think we give a similar kind of answer that you will not understand this, and we generally end up doing something for them. We generally don't take time or take out time to teach them these things. But I think that was the kind of thing she wants to say, that she wants to make a statement at that point of time and say that I would like to learn because I want to prove that I can learn. That is one. And secondly, I want to see if my kids are not going in a wrong direction, they're not straight in the wrong direction. That was the major uh, motivation behind that's why she wanted to learn computers at that point of time. And I promised her that I'll try and do something for you. And we moved forward from that village. We went to this another village. You can see the name called Lalpur at that point of time. So when I went to this village, there were women there, and there were again was a workshop at that point of time. Again, it was around how to make pickles, poppers, and all kind of stuff. So this looked very familiar to village. So, and when I was talking to them, one thing struck, and that one thing was that all these people were like complaining about something. So they were not happy overall. When I talked to them and I asked them what is the reason, and they said that all these NGOs come, promise a lot, doesn't happen, nothing happens. All these government people come in and tell that this will we will do a lot of things for you, but nothing happens. We don't see anything happening out there. There are a lot of challenges here, but no one is helping us. And there was a lot of complaining in their words, like whatever we were talking about, they were not happy. They were complaining about a lot of things. And when I started explaining them that these are the NGOs and the government who would like to support you, but I think you will have to take lead in solving your own problems. Till the time you do it, no one else will do it for you. And they were not ready to listen or understand. And I was trying to explain them for a long time. I think almost I spent 2 hours, 2.5 hours in trying to explain them that this is how you should do it. You should take charge of your own problems, own challenges, and try and solve them. And these NGOs and the government people will support you. You cannot just depend only on the people to solve your problems. But they were not ready to listen. They're not ready to understand this part. I got a little frustrated or irritated, whatever you say. So at that point of time, I said that why can't you become like women of Shampur? And that struck the chord in them, and they started asking what are they doing. And I told them they are so progressive. They're doing so much of good stuff on their own. They're solving their own challenges. They said you're just saying it for the heck of saying it. It's not happening there. And I told them that I'll just show you a small clip. So I took out my laptop and I showed them the video that I recorded in the previous village, the song. And it was just a 2.5 minutes clip. They saw that video, and after that, they said that just give us 10 minutes. I said, what happened? So they said, just give us 10 minutes, we'll come back to you. So within 10 minutes, after seeing that song of another village, the women of Lalpur created a song for their own village. And they said that we have composed a song and we would like to sing. Please record that also. So after 10 minutes, these all people got together. They sang a song of Lalpur. And I was like, it was really good. In 10 minutes, they could compose a song. What better they can do? And after the song got over, some of them who were supposedly the leaders of the group, the SHG, they said that we would like to promise one thing. We would like to promise that whatever happens from now on, we would not complain. If the NGOs support us, it's good. If they don't, we will try and take matters into our hand. We'll see if government can help us. It's okay. Otherwise, we will get together and try and solve whatever challenges we can. And I was really, really shocked at that point of time what happened. I was trying to convince them for almost 2.5 hours and there was nothing happening. And the moment they saw this 2.5 minute clip, the entire scenario changed. Their behavior changed. And they started saying something which was very different from what they were saying before. And it took me some time. It took me some time to understand, but I figured out that if people see people like themselves doing something great, they believe they can do it as well. So I was an outsider. Okay, so they were not even relating to me what I'm doing. But the moment they saw women like them who were wearing similar clothes, talking in a similar language, and doing something great, they felt they can do it as well. So that gave them a lot of confidence, and that convinced them that this is possible. And then they took this first step, and they actually started doing something which is very similar to the other village. So when I saw this, when I observed this, I thought that if this just a 2.5 minute connection can do such wonders, can change the behavior of a person, which is very difficult to do, what will happen if we just connect these two villages over internet? over a long time, and let's see what happens. So that's how we started this first experiment of Apna Tech 3. And the idea was to put 2 computers in both the villages, put a high-speed internet connectivity, and see what happens. Uh, everything went well. I think everything was in our favor. Even the God was in our favor at that point of time. Both the villages in 2013 got WiMAX connectivity at that point of time. We didn't have Wi-Fi at that time, but WiMAX is something that we were able to manage. Even community contributed in this particular project. NABARD was there, Intel was there, the local NGO partner was there, and even community contributed. They agreed that we were ready to do this, and even they contributed in the entire project. And we were able to launch this project within, I think, 1.5 months after this meeting that happened with the village. So we thought that we'll just initially the plan was to put a computer, but I think a lot of people have done that previously. A lot of people have done that and experimented that, just putting a computer, what happens. And we saw that most of the people, when it comes to computers or technology, I think youth will use it, but the women are very skeptical that how can they use it, how would they use it. And we were very sure that women should be the one who should start using it. So this was the kind of brainstorming we were doing, that what kind of design, what kind of modules, how should we show it. It should not happen that, because in most of the cases, what we ask that we train people to become technology savvy. Okay. So at this point,
Hello, participants. So I think there is a small technical glitch. Is it audible? Am I audible to all?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Okay. No, I thought that my network is, because some time ago it gave me a lot of trouble, So participant, there is a little technical glitch with sir. I think Dr. Raja would be very soon. He'll join. He'll connect. Probably a team can, look forward. If there is some we can do from our eyes. Yes. So this is the challenge, just I was saying. Yeah, he's back. Yes, sir. You're back. Sir, you're muted, sir. Dr. Taraja, you are muted. You are muted. Yes. No, muted. Yeah. Now.
can you hear me now?
Yes. It's yeah.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I think it got disconnected in between.
Yes, it's all right, sir. This is the challenge of doing it remotely, sir. Yeah.
We still feel the challenge there. So I don't know till what point I was going, and I think till what point you were able to hear me.
Sir, you can share your screen because screen is not shared.
Okay.
Yeah, Dr. Tuteja, it's there. It's there now. Yeah, you can see.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, were you able to hear me till this point? Like, I just wanted to reiterate so that I can start again from that perspective.
Yes. You're talking about the women. How can a woman be know
Yes.
that text? Yes.
So idea was that how can we humanize technology rather than converting people to use technology so that they have to upgrade themselves. So we thought we'll have to change the way computers are being used in the system. And one of the things that we thought that like if women groups or SHGs have to use the system, there has to be a very simple user interface for the system. It has to be pretty simple. Hello, can you hear me?
Now your
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Okay.
Nandan, Mr. Nandan Pegu, Mr. Nandan Pegu, please mute yourself. Hilal, can you please mute?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
I am
now,
muted.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So we looked at all the angles, and we finally decided that for a village, I think the best thing that can move forward is you have to have something like a tree. And we created a tree, and the way it was introduced. So this was the model that was created. If you can see on the right hand side, this was the tree format that was created, and every branch of the tree was representing something that you can get these kind of information from this particular kiosk. The kiosk was touch screen absolutely, with a very simple user interface with very limited icons. At that point in time, there was a web camera, there was speakers, there was a battery backup within the system, within the stem or the bark of the tree. If you can see, it's not visible here, but there is a system there. Okay, and it was not just a system that was installed there; it was more like a entire program that was launched in these villages. Okay, and this is the kind of simple user interface that we used to use. If you can see, there were icons for education, health, farming, and this Sampark means you can contact with some officers. Gram Swar was something, if you have any challenges in the villages, you can record them. And Gaunet was an intranet. In case there is no internet available, you can have a small intranet that can run during that point of time. So it was an entire program that was run. And in the villages, if you, I don't know how many of you would have heard about Kalpavriksha in our ancient Vedas, we used to also call it wish tree in some places. So we introduced this entire system into the village as a wish tree, as a technology wish tree for the village, especially in villages. When you go to these villages, especially in the northern part of India, I'm not sure about northeast right now, but people pray to the trees. So when we installed this tree for the first time in the villages, the women started tying thread across the tree. They did a coconut ritual also at that point of time. So they actually accepted this entire model into their daily lives, and they started using it at that point of time. So it has three phases. The program has three phases. It was engage, enable, and empower. And if you look at the, I don't know if you have gone through the Pura model, it has four phases: physical connectivity, electronic connectivity, knowledge connectivity, and economic connectivity. So we started with the similar program, but we started with electronic connectivity as a first phase, knowledge second phase, and economic third phase through this system that we've established. So when we established the system, we started observing. So through our central node, we started observing the kind of things that are happening into the village, the way people are using the system. The women used to use this system for various purposes. The youth used to use this system for various purposes. And a lot of other activities were happening. You can see the various ways in which people were using it. People are using it to interact with doctors. People were using it to talk to officials from NABARD. People were using it for talking to bank officials. People were using it to talking to different government officials for solving their own challenges. It was also becoming a meeting point for different villages where women SSG groups coming together and talking to each other. And then we start connecting them to different stakeholders in the cities as well, right? So if you could see this was one of the systems at that point of time when we started this, which has become a portal for dialogue. Okay, there have been a lot of interventions that have been done till now where there was a monologue that was present, where the people from the cities used to talk and people in the village used to listen. I think most of the interventions today also we do in the same way, where we have so many interventions happening, but it's a one-way intervention that is happening, where all the people in the cities are talking and all the people in the villages are listening to that. I think this was the first, one of the first interventions where through digital medium, there was a dialogue that was established. It was a sustainable dialogue that was established at that point of time, where people used to talk to each other. Okay, and the moment the people in the village get that empowerment that they can talk to people at government offices, people are listening to them, a lot of empowerment comes to them on their own. That's why it's not so this thing just acted as a bridge. Okay, this technology, this kiosk or the project just acted as a bridge between two different stakeholders for sustainable development. People who are experts, people who have all the knowledge, and people in the villages who are talking to each other. The moment they talk, the moment that comfort factor comes in, a lot of problems get solved. A lot of problems, the actual challenges will come in focus. The actual challenges, people will start recognizing them and they start solving them also. And then we thought we will also not only limit it to this, we will start replicating to other places as well. And we started involving youth in this particular program, where we started with the colleges in Delhi, like SRCC. You can see one photograph there, where there was a model where the youth from cities started interacting with youths in villages, and they started helping them in solving their challenges also. And also the youth in cities started taking some particular responsibility in solving certain challenges in villages also, where if it is related to panchayati system, that is also being solved. If it's a government issue, an email has to be sent. Those things are being done easily by the people. So that kind of communication channel was established, and a lot of problems around education, healthcare, and livelihoods started getting solved. So there were a lot of things that happened, but I'll take you to two of the major success stories that we observed during this time. One of them was around agriculture, where in this village called Shampur, there was at one point of time, there was a huge pest attack that happened. And this belt is very much famous for the rice that they produce. So at that time, most of the rice is getting, there is some problem infected due to some of this pest. And they were not able to solve this even using some of the pesticides. So at that point of time, we reached out to this agricultural institute in Delhi. It's called Indian Agricultural Research Institute, IARI, PUSA. So we talked to certain scientists there, and we said, just if you can give some time and interact with them. And over a video conferencing, they interacted with, they saw some samples, and within 4 to 5 days, they were able to solve the problem. They were able to suggest them the right pesticides, and I think the entire crop, almost 80% of the crop, got saved. Which would not, if would not have happened, I think so much of crop would have wasted. And I think this is the major reasons for so much of suicides happening in all these areas. So that was first thing that happened. And the second thing was, which was very close to my heart, is in one of the cases, as I belong to virology field, DNA diagnostics. I've been working on the hepatitis virus for a long time. So there was in one of the villages, I saw that there are a lot of challenges especially for the women healthcare. Okay, there is not much facilities available, and women, especially women, do not come out and say that we have these challenges and we want to see something. So I reached out to one of the doctors in Ghaziabad, which was the nearest town to this village, and I asked this doctor if you can give some time to these women and understand their challenges. So I initiated a connection, which was again a video conferencing connection between the villages, and there were women at this end of the village, and they were talking to each other. And the doctor said that I'll just have 10 minutes of time, but I'll see whatever I can do in that point of time, because I have some 10 appointments to take care of. So I said, it's okay, you can give me 10 minutes, that's enough. So when the connection started, I even stood out of the clinic, because it was a private connection between women and the women doctor. So I thought, let them talk to each other and see and discuss their issues. But this connection, which was supposed to happen just for 10 minutes, it continued for almost, I'll say, 1.5 hours. And after that, doctor came out and said that there are a lot of challenges in the village, and I would like to go and see if something can be done. So when this doctor went ahead in 15 days with her own funds, she organized a camp. Almost 200 plus women got screened, and 8 to 9 women with very early stage cancers got diagnosed. All of them got treated. And if you see that just a 10-minute connection saved almost 8 to 9 lives. So I think this was one of the biggest ever achievement I talk about everywhere. I think we never even thought of that this would happen when we established this communication channels, and if right stakeholders talk to right people, and when the matchmaking happens, a lot of problems will get solved. A lot of problems get solved just by talking. And that's what happened in this case. So this was just one story that happened. And then we moved forward and said that now we've achieved a lot of things in electronic connectivity, knowledge connectivity. There were a lot of classes happening for students. And then we thought, how can universities, how can colleges, how can students like you can solve these challenges and help these women or the groups or the women or the youth groups in the village to set up their own enterprises, solve their own problems. So we threw a proper model. So we have a model called Connect and Change model that we apply to different colleges. We are working with almost 100 colleges right now in Delhi and Mumbai, where we identify the youth in these colleges, establish chapters, and train them through a model. We have a model called 3C model. So it goes with 3 steps where a group is attached to a community. It can be a rural community or an urban community, but in these cases specifically, we are mentioning rural communities where they collect the challenges of the village or the women, and then they help them for finding out the solutions by talking to the community. Community is a stakeholder out there. They train them, market linkage them, mentor them, and within 100 days, all these kind of solutions will come out. These kind of enterprises will come out. These kind of solutions have come out of these interventions. So this is the kind of team. This is our Mumbai team, the colleges who have just worked on almost 15 villages in Palghar. So we've taken them through a model where you can see there are people from villages and people from cities together. So they were together for almost a week, where we did a matchmaking where almost 5 students to 6 students took responsibility of one enterprise. And then over the next 6 months, they made sure all these enterprises have almost doubled their income in 6 months through various interventions. So the models might be different, but the training module is very similar. And in a very sustainable way, all these enterprises are doing really well right now. So I'll give you some examples. So these are the kind of enterprises that have come out. This is somewhere from UP itself, where we have an enterprise in rural tourism, where we have an enterprise in Sanjeevani is around making papads. So Hapur is very famous for making papads, and the team from SRCC made sure this SHG group became a cooperative, which started with almost 12 women. Right now, there are almost 1,200 women from neighboring villages also who is running this cooperative and earning a huge revenue, not just around papad, but various other products as well. Basta, I'll just show you the next. It's a wonderful story of innovation, how innovation can change so many things everywhere. So Basta is an enterprise started by a Lady Shri Ram College, LSR. It's a girls' college in Delhi, where these women, group was working with a women group in village who were making cloth bags. I think most of you have seen these kind of enterprises where people make cloth bags. If you look at the cost of these cloth bags, when you sell in the market, they're generally sold around 20 to 30 rupees max. Okay. And when you look at the cost incurred in transportation, in making these bags, raw material, everything, and also the cost that comes to, for women generally get approximately 10 to 12 rupees a bag max. That's the earning that they can get. And through this, they can earn a maximum of 2,000 rupees a month. That's what they were earning at that point of time. So we thought we have 2 problems in hand. One, the raw material cost is quite high, so we have to reduce it. Second, the profit margins are very less. We have to make sure these women earn more. How can we do it? So we had a good session, training session and a brainstorming session with the colleges and the students. And we came up with a model. At that time, elections got over in Delhi. And that time we came with this model that there were a lot of flex banners around the campus. So they collected almost 100 kgs of flex banners, used flex banners, the one that we generally use in events. And there is a challenge with flex banners that you can't decompose them easily. But they're wonderful material as they're waterproof. They're really sturdy. So they collected that and they got in touch with some designers. And we created certain sample bags, okay, where we got some extra clothes from export house, which was waste clothes, used some good accessories, and they created designer bags out of this model, right? And then they trained these women on how to make these designer bags. Okay, so now you see the cost of raw material is reduced because the flex banner is free. The export house has given the cloth for free, which was not used. The only cost that was going into the bag making was the accessories, and certain training has to be given to these women. When we look at this, you will see these kind of bags were made. If you see on the top left, if it is visible, these are the kind of bags that were made. And if you could see in the market easily, these were sold for 200, 250 rupees easily. Okay, so these are just 2 designs. We created almost 15 designs at that point of time. And so if you see, the margins have increased tremendously, almost 10 times. The women who used to earn just rupees 10 to 12 rupees previously, now for every bag, they were getting a margin of approximately 150 rupees. After reducing all the cost of transportation, everything, margins. Basta has now become a good enterprise. The girls who started this have now, one of them have continued this particular model, and there are many women now. Okay, not only in Hapur but various other places. So they have a challenge now that they have more demand and less supply. So they're trying to figure that out. on the bottom right, you can see there is another model, which is another enterprise that came out, is called Windmill. And if you could look at the kind of painting that is there, it's called Maithili painting, which is very famous in Bihar. Okay, the challenge was that these group of people are leaving their enterprise because all these people were facing a challenge at that point of time, that you don't buy too many paintings in your home, isn't it? You buy like a couple of paintings if required, or maybe even a little more, but not more than that. And the cost is really high. So they came with an idea that instead of the paintings, if we can do some small paintings on the clothes and start selling them as like that, so the demand will increase. So what happened was that they started making these suits. If you can see these sample suits on the right. So each of these designs are very unique. They're made by hand. Okay, so that's a selling point. That's a USP of this enterprise, where they used to sell these things, and they got a huge response. They got a huge response because suits is something that people can buy often on a regular basis. So this became viral, and even the people who left the business started coming back into that particular group we were working with. So that's a success story. On the other two, you could see Sanjeevani Papad I talked about is on the right, the kind of branding that they've made, and on the left, it's artificial jewelry by Maya. Those are initial things. More recently, we have been working with Maharashtra villages, and you can see the kind of enterprises that are coming out. Sawar tourism on the left is a bamboo handicrafts. Then you have again some material made from Varli painting. So these are different kind of interventions. There's a nursery that's coming up. So all these interventions where students or the youth groups got connected with the rural enterprises or the community there, and both of them learned from each other. There were many students who worked with us in Mumbai who had never visited village ever. So they went ahead and stayed in those villages, and they learned a lot from there. There were a lot of people from the villages who got a lot of exposure from the students out there, and everyone used their own strengths. So village people have a lot of skills out there. The students from the colleges had a lot of knowledge in terms of, a lot of skills in terms of marketing, in terms of a requirement from the city side, because we generally create products, but if they are not accepted in the market, there is no point of creating those products. So those kind of market linkage interventions, the kind of energy people bring in, the kind of social media exposure, all those things that happens, that brings a lot of confidence in both the domains, both the communities, be it urban or rural, and a lot of problems get solved. And out of the 15 villages, we were able to create almost 13 plus enterprises there itself. And more than 425 people got benefited directly out of this particular 6 month to 7 month kind of intervention that we did with the Mumbai, with the Maharashtra one. Okay, and there have been a lot of other success stories. These are other different models that we have been running around village development. Apna Tech Tree, I was talking about. Women First is another initiative where we train the women on how to start your enterprises, especially SHG groups, so that they take ownership of their own enterprises. That's a kind of brand that we're building over. Helping Hands is a kind of model that we have created, where corporates, specifically people from corporates who connect with small enterprises out there, and they handhold them and help them in taking the business to the next level, give them the skills that are needed to sustain a business to a better level. So this is what we've done as well. So till now, more than 40 plus villages we have tested the model, and it's worked wonderfully well. More than 1,500 plus connections have been made in different places. More than 100 enterprises have been created, and more than 50,000 people have been helped in some way or the other. Multiple programs have been done, and I think it's a wonderful journey for us. We have learned a lot of things, and we figured out most important thing is that it's all about communication. It's all about connecting people together. It's all about making people smarter rather than just moving after the smarter technology. I think technology is a facilitator. Technology can never become a solution ever. It will always be a facilitator between two communities. And if we can have a platform where a communication, sustainable communication bridge can be established, where people can talk to each other on regular basis, understand the problems and discuss about them, I think most of the solutions will come out of it. That's a learning we got. And that's how we are able to make all these interventions till now. And right now we're working with almost 100 colleges, and all these places, I think a similar kind of interventions are going on, where we are training these youth change makers we're creating these change makers over last 8 years, and we're trying to make sure each one of the change makers can bring a change in the society in some way or the other. But it's a process. I think what we have like understood over a period of time, it's a process. It cannot be random. Okay, so it's a process that has been built up, and a kind of program that we are running right now, where we take the people or the teams through an entire 3C process, where they collect challenges, create solutions, and change lives. End of the day, and they become change makers. And the change making is not just for the duration of the project. I think that change making skills and the experience help them do wonders in their life as well. I think that helps them understand that the life is not just about expecting something or about competition. It's also about contribution. The moment you start thinking in a way that you want to contribute, you want to give back to society, or you want to connect, as we say in our own terms, that if we work towards connecting other people's dreams, our dreams get connected for sure. I think this was my personal journey, where I started by figuring out that I wanted to connect my own dreams. But the moment I started connecting other people's dreams, my dreams of connecting dreams got realized. I think that's what I have to say. So this is from me. Thank you very much. Thanks for your patience. I'm open to questions now. Anyone who would like to ask any questions around this, I'm more than happy to answer.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Tuteja. It was a very wonderful session, and you have done so many work, and all the work which I can see is all for hand holding. That's very excellent. Is it somebody? What is this? Okay, no, it's just appearing on the screen. So all the work which you have shown us or shared us is a hand holding. This is very good. And I could not imagine, the way it was mobilized as like a mission mode. So thank you so much. This is very good.
Thank
So
you.
now, yeah, I would like to see this the participant, if they have some question, anything you'd like to ask, please come forward. This is an opportunity to interact with such a dignified people, a person over here with us. So please come forward to ask your question if you have anything, or you can use here, in a chat also. This is, yeah. Someone will say something. Okay, so no question. Yes, Nagarajan has got one question, sir. So probably can you read the screen, or should I read it for you? It says that, are you extending such work in other states? This is in my mind also. I wanted to ask at the end. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think in times of COVID, it has helped us expand our operations in the place as well. I think now the technology like this, the Zoom or the video conferencing tools that are there, are helping us work anywhere in India. Okay, so now we have made a model where you can form chapters in any of the colleges. We can help you establish that. We can take you through the training modules, and we can help you start your own chapters and interventions wherever you want. We're already working in similar way in 100 colleges right now. In this times of COVID, this entire change maker model that we have developed, all these change makers have started in a platform called ICANN. If you get a chance to look at it, it's called India COVID Action Network. And with this kind of interventions, that with the interventions of ICANN, they were able to help 4 lakh people in 3 months. And all these people are from 25 states. So we started with 2 states, done all by change makers, just 2 states, and Delhi and Maharashtra, but it has now expanded to 25 states. It's been recognized by Niti Aayog specifically. We're able to help so many people during this time. I think it's again the model which worked on that. You should not be limited by, you should not limit your interventions just by the sake of that if there is a challenge coming. I think at the time of challenge, like COVID or something else, I think we are expecting a lot, many of these things to be coming up because of the way we have played with nature. In next 10 years, many more things would come like this. So at this point of time, I think change makers are the people who are absolutely ready for these challenges. And this is what we prepare people for, that at these point of times, how can you come out with innovations? How can you come out with solutions which can solve, rather than looking at the point that how can you just save yourself? You can actually work towards saving the entire humanity at this point of time. So ICANN is one of those initiatives that was started by these change makers at this time, where they just wanted to help the communities at that point of time who were not able to help themselves. And they actually solved it. Okay, there is a question from
Yes.
Dippy Bora. What is your
Yes.
opinion of removing superstitions from the mindsets of people of the villages? Some places in Assam we hear about witch hunting, etc. What is your advice? Okay, I have a very personal experience. I think I would like to share it. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, it's I think it's in our mindset. It's not in the mindset of people. Okay, if okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, I visited this village in Uttarakhand. Okay, I was just talking to people and looking at different things. So I saw little far off. There was a person who was almost, I think, 80 plus years old, 85 years old, and approximately, and he was trying to repair the roof of his house at that point of time. And there was a small kid of 5 years, not even 5 years, less than that. A small girl of 5 years was trying to help. She was trying to pick up a brick, and she was trying to give to this old person, and he was trying to help, trying to repair that roof, because at that time I think rains were about to come, and he was trying to see that how can we help. I started talking to the person who was supposedly the sarpanch of the village, and I asked him that what is his story, that why he's doing this alone, he's so old, and what happened. And he told me that he had a kid who was, and he had a kid and a daughter-in-law, and both of them lost their lives in an accident. And this girl is the granddaughter. Okay, and he said that, and he also said one more thing. He said that uh, during the year, at one of the times, there is something like a Devi enters him. Okay, I don't know how many of you would have seen this. I think this is very popular in various villages, that at certain times the Devi enters, or something enters the body of the person, and at that point of time, everyone start worshipping that person. Okay, he said that during 1 month of the year, at one point of time, uh, Devi enters his body. Okay, and at that point of time, everyone worships him, and everyone start giving him something, like either some grains or some food or some money or something at that point of time. At one point of time, from a science angle, you see that this is all not true. Okay, there is something wrong in this. Okay, from the other side, when you realize the situation, okay, and I asked him how did it start, and he said it's almost like last 8 to 9 years this is happening. And I realized, like, if you look at the entire story, you realize over a period of time that till the time he was able to work, he was working. Okay, he was working on his own, and he was earning his livelihood. But at one point of time, when he realized that he can't do anything, he might be wrong. Okay, in certain ways, he might be wrong. He's doing some practice, but he's trying to survive. He's trying to survive. He's doing something so that at least once in a year, he's getting something for his life, for his at least family, so that he can survive. I don't feel anything is wrong or right. Okay, so at certain point of times, you have to also set up the context. You can't generalize things. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a very behavioral issue in certain cases and due to certain reasons. There are superstitions, I agree, but I think it's always good not to attack those superstitions straight away without understanding the context of the situation, without understanding the story behind it. Okay, it's always good to look at overall development of the place. I think most of these things will go away if the village is happy, if the people are happy, if they're earning well. If they're happy, facilities are there, nothing of this sort will come in. But if all the situations are bad, and if something of like this sort is also happening, I think we should not get in and start attacking without understanding the context. So that's my, I'll not say advice, that's my experience. I can just say that. But I think, Dippy, I was able to at least give you some answer to it. Okay. Nagarjuna
Yes.
asked me, what are their contributions in preparing village panchayat development plan? You're asking about the youth connecting with the villages, if I'm not wrong?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay, great. So,
Yes, sir. The group is connecting in preparing the village development
yeah.
plan. Okay.
So Nagarjuna, every village has a very different politics and a scenario. Okay, in some cases where the kind of mutual understanding develops, this also happened. This also happened in many cases. So again, I'm saying what we have developed is just a platform for communications. So everywhere the solutions and the stories will be different. If you develop something like this in your area, you might come up with different interventions. So what we have created is just a framework and a platform. What comes out of it is absolutely on both the users, on the village side and the urban side. So it's all about talking to each other and understanding and see that how can you help. If the understanding is good between both the parties, I think wonderful things can happen. If there is a challenge in communication, even then nothing can happen, whatever technology used.
True. This is there. So
Yes, sir. Thanks.
okay, thank you for answering those queries patiently. Thank you. Sir, I wanted to understand one thing. Like you talking about the wish tree, right?
Yes.
So how was this? How did it work?
How did it work? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, how was the idea understood? Village people, the villager women will go or they will connect with but how was this? Entire setup was, being into a model.
But wrong. It was just like, as I told you when we started this, the idea was to set up two computers in two different locations. But the idea was to humanize technology. So this was one of the things through design thinking we incorporated, that we have to humanize the technology perspective. At that point, I thought that, so one of my friend's kid was using a iPad in one of my meetings with him. And this kid was almost just, I'll say, 1.5 years old. He had no education at all, nothing at all. So I was like, yeah, how is he using iPad? And I just observed him. And he said, I saw that there are two buttons he knew how to operate. One button to start a game, one button to end the game. That's it. And that was enough for him to use it. So I thought, if this person can do it who doesn't know anything at all, is not gone to school ever, so anyone can do it. So that's a model we started with. And that's why I thought that we'll just put a screen there. We'll not put any keyboard or mouse. We'll just take it away. And we'll create a very simple kiosk where it is just like a phone. The way you are using phone, there are certain buttons, one button which can connect you through a video conferencing, one button which can give you a YouTube kind of channel, and one button can do something else. All right. So it's all about exploring things. Okay. So we have to make simple. Second, the shape of the tree was very important in this context. Reason being, a village, people could understand the wish tree concept. Okay. The Kalpa Vriksha is very, very embedded, especially in northern Indian villages. It's very embedded into the Vedas. That there was a Kalpuriksh in heaven where if you wish something, you will get it. And we just gave them the same concept. This is your technology Kalpuriksh or technology wish tree. Whatever information you will ask, it will give you. We will teach you how to ask. That's the only thing we were teaching you. So that's it. So that's how it got integrated very well into the ecosystem. So it's all about working a little harder. And when they saw that we are pushing it too much and we are putting up so much effort in making sure that they become comfortable, they also took some extra effort and they started using it.
Oh, excellent. Because this is very interesting to me, and I also adopted this 5 village, which I informed you in the beginning. So, the place is very much remote, and it's like more like inhabited. You can say Saral Bhanga is the place. So probably this thing could be something new for them, and also to connect. So that's why I was wondering how did you make it up, and what resource we need, so that accordingly I can also plan.
We can connect and we can give you all the things that we have. I think you can create something else also if you want there. It's all about what is acceptable into that community. What is it that they would connect with?
Correct.
Whatever works. So I think that right now, after 7 years, the technology has advanced like anything. A lot of new things have come in. I think the good part would be that if you can get a good, strong internet connection. In some of the villages, we have to set up our own towers. I think in hills, it is a little difficult. But if you can experiment with some villages to begin with and then start this, I think that would also work. I think internet would be the bottleneck if it comes out in one of the villages. But if internet availability is there, I think you can do anything that you want.
All right.
I think that's the first step for anything that you want to develop. I think the regular communications. I think most of the things what happens when you pick up remote villages, you can't travel there on regular basis. So you go there once, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. So when this happens now, the relationship is never established. The strong trust is never established. But if you have something like this, and if you are talking, say like in 2 to 3 days every time, and people can recognize your face and you can talk to them on a regular basis, the relationship will establish. Once the relationship is established, then the problems will be identified in the right way. And then the solutions will come in.
Yes. Thank you so much, Tuteja, for guiding this. I'll keep in touch with you on this context, because I really wanted to see forward how it can be accepted in our village.
Sure.
So any more question? No more.
You can share my email. That's You
Of
can
course,
easily,
yes,
if you
we'll
want,
we-
so
we'll share
I
it.
can write. So I can write it if you want here itself.
Yeah.
So before we end, like I just want to thank the Smart Village group and the college and the team, and also Chetna, who connected me for this
Yes.
particular talk. It's really wonderful to talk to everyone, and I really wish that every one of you could at least connect one dream in your life moving forward. And
Right.
I hope every one of yours dream is also get connected. And we'll be happy to contribute in whatever way we can. We would love to solve any of the challenges or any of the places wherever we can. Okay, be it the training
Right.
of the change makers or any village interventions wherever we want. We would love to contribute.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Amit Tuteja. It's really wonderful. It's to get a blessing from you. Of
Thank
course, we are charged, we are motivated. Our small team is there. Of course, this team need to be, grow horizontally. So we will form more stronger horizontal group, and then of course vertical growth. I will need support like a blessing like you. Yeah, thank you so much. So thank you for joining the session.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Thank
So
you.
all the participants are requested to please fill the feedback form. I'm going to share it here. So feedback form will be deactivated after 15 minutes, and so we are looking forward for your genuine feedback over there, and also looking forward for tomorrow's session. So Dr. Amit Tuteja, thank you so much. Bye bye. Yeah,
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.